What happens when life hits you blow for blow and the storms seem never ending? Yet, instead of laying down and giving up, letting your storms consume you, you remain steadfast, finding the willpower, the strength you didn't know existed, and the courage to keep pushing forward. That is perseverance. How you respond to your circumstances is key. Welcome to the basics of perseverance. What it is, what it ain't, y'all. I'm a peace of mind, and welcome to the basics of perseverance, where how you handle your situation and circumstances is key. This evening, the guest I have for you is a very special guest. It's kind of like one of my favorite older cousins at that. Kimberly Dixon-Roberts. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, cuz.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me this evening for a little
Absolutely.
conversation. So, you know, as an individual, who are you?
Who am I? Uh, I'm a very non-complex, very easy person to figure out, and pretty much what you see is what you get. If I like you, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it. I'm gonna make sure you know it. If I don't like you, um, I just don't do you really. I just, I don't have it. I won't be mean at all, but you don't get to get close to me.
You just be a little cordial, what we call it.
Yeah. Yeah, always cordial.
I got you. Definitely understand that. So, you know, we go through things in life,
Yes.
and sometimes we get hit blow for blow, seem like storm is never going to end. Life happens. So, give me an example of a situation or circumstance that you've been through and walk me through how you handle it. What is your process?
Well, like you said, we all have things that we go through. I have a basic formula for every situation that's, negative or something I need to figure out. My basic formula is I immediately go to what is the worst case scenario?
Okay.
What is the worst thing that can happen in this situation?
Okay.
That's my first go to. And when I decide I can handle the worst thing that could happen in this situation, I'm good. I'm good.
That's a good little formula. That's actually a good way to look at it. Because you're pretty much analyzing it. Worst case
Mhm.
scenario, if you can handle it. So let's just say that worst case scenario. On how often have you been able to handle it on the scale from 1 to 10?
10.
10?
Because the worst case scenario typically um, is death.
Gotcha.
You because you can't come back from that.
Yeah.
Everything else you can come back from it. It may take a while, it may take a lot, but you can come back from it.
That
So if it doesn't kill you, the old adage, if it doesn't kill you, it
it
makes you
makes you
better.
stronger.
Yeah.
Makes you be able to fight through it.
Yeah.
So, you know, me and a couple of friends were talking about this thing called your comfort zone. You know, and a lot of people get complacent in their comfort zone when in actuality they know they could probably be doing more. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you're retired or
Mm-hmm.
you're just doing bare minimal. If you're on a job and that job, you've outgrown that job, but you just still want to sit there because you're comfortable. So, have you ever found yourself in that comfort zone? And if so, at what point did you say, "All right, Kim, I need to get it together. I need to figure this out. I need to move. I need to push myself to do more because I know I could do more. I know there's better and greater for me."
That's an interesting question. Um, I think we're all in a comfort zone in different areas of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for an example, I sell comforter batter. I've been doing it for uh, almost 12 years.
Yes.
And whenever I announce a sale, it goes bananas. I have to cut it off at a certain point and say no more because it'll be, I'll be doing comforter batter all night and all day. So people really love it.
Mm-hmm.
People love it. It's very popular and I do well with it whenever I do it. Now, I use that example because I have some other friends, a few friends who are successful. Like I had one friend tell me, she said, "Oh, I'm not impressed by the number of orders that you get." She said, "Get it in the stores." And I'm like, wait. She said, get it in the grocery stores, get it in the seafood markets. That's when I'll be impressed. So she said that because she knows that I have the potential. The potential is there for that to happen.
Yes.
But going back to your question, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable where I am.
So, because I see how you sell out and you be like, okay, that's it, no more orders,
Hmm.
we're done. So, what is exactly stopping you from going that extra mile, that extra stretch to get it in the stores, to get it patented, to get it trademarked?
A little bit of laziness and a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of fear.
So, fear is, of course, the unknown. But
Hmm.
sometimes fear is also you pushing yourself out that comfort zone to confront what you need to be, what needs to be confronted. And
Hmm.
so the laziness, we can get around that laziness. Cause once you jump over that barrier, it's nothing. All you have to do is step out there. So
Hmm.
I don't see why, I was thinking the same thing because I was like, well, every time you go and see, you see how you said when I decide to sell them or make batter. It can't be when you decide. You know that the people love them. Hey, now I'm offering it twice a month. You're doing it once a month. So let's increase it. You know, twice a month. Maybe in the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, they'll be able to place their orders. Because how many orders do you do each time you do it?
It varies. It depends. Sometimes I split it up into 2 days if it's too many orders.
Mm-hmm.
I've had as many as 100 orders, and then I had to do like 3 days worth of work, 2, 3 days worth of work.
So do you do them
So
in? Does it come in like buckets? Like
yeah,
how do you prep
yeah,
it in big buckets? What are
in a
the
container. Yeah,
in a
64-ounce containers, and people can typically get maybe 45 fritters out of that container unless they make them the size of,
the big
frisbee.
ones? And you have the thing. See, I'm asking this because you have a quality product. You use quality ingredients. I
All the
see it
time.
all the time, and plus I've had it at the reunion. So my thing is, if you're doing up to 100 each time you do it, just imagine if you did it twice. That's another 200. I think I think if you wrote it out and you had your plan,
Hmm.
you could move forward. We're gonna have to we'll discuss that after this and everything because I really think like what I've seen in the stores. Well, I really haven't seen anything in the stores, but I know I've had come the past or I've seen it in the stores, and it really doesn't have meat. You're getting a whole bunch of bread, like the comforters that they have at Bud's. When I used to go there a while ago, all you eat is taste like a corn muffin. I don't taste not one piece of conch nowhere. And the people buy them, but it's like you don't taste nothing. But if you have a when you have a quality product and people love the product, and you're giving them the opportunity to be able to make their own, you don't even have to cook them. You're just making batter. You know.
Hmm.
So it'd have been different if you have to be over the stove cooking them in the hot grease. But you don't even
Hmm.
have to do that. You don't have to smell like the grease. All you're doing is
putting the batter together in these nice
Mm-hmm.
little buckets, and
Mm-hmm.
they can make them in the comfort of their home.
Yep.
You know, so
Well,
that
that's
go
my
ahead.
trademark is, well, the name is Kim's Conky Conk Fritters.
Okay, so you already got it trademarked.
No, that's me talking. Don't give me that disappointed look. But I
Okay.
do that because the reason I wanted to learn how to make conch fritters
Mm-hmm.
is because whenever you're at a festival or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, they don't put conch in there. They
Mm-mm.
don't. You have to search for a piece of conch.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm gonna change this. So about 12 years ago, I started messing around, and I make sure that when you have one of my fritters, you're gonna run into at least, it's gonna be smaller pieces in there, but you're gonna run into at least 4 or 5 chunks of conch. So
You're gonna taste it throughout
yes,
the
so
whole experience. So
you have a conch fritter.
so through your experience, you solved the problem because you know
Yeah.
people want to taste the meat, and a lot of people complain about not tasting the conch
Yes,
inside the fritter.
absolutely.
So you have a market, you have a product, and it will do good. I guarantee you, they will buy it in stores. You know, if you're
Mm-hmm.
doing this by yourself right now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little planning, but like I said, we're gonna go over this trademark and everything. You know, step out that comfort zone a little bit, get you boosted and doing something. I haven't seen my pictures yet with that camera, so we gotta, we gotta, yeah, we gotta do something with the camera. So, but yeah, and then like you said at the festivals, maybe one year just try getting you a little booth, a tent or what have you. You let all your followers know, hey, I'm gonna be at this festival. I'm gonna be actually selling the conch. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be cooked already because quite naturally out there in the sun, you can't have that much batter sitting out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you're gonna sell out.
Yeah, I
You're
know
gonna
I
sell
would.
out.
I,
You
I,
see that? You said I know I will. So you already know.
yeah,
You already know what your products will do.
because I never change anything.
The
Because that's the problem with
consistency.
a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
People love it, and then you go back, and there's something different. They've
Mm-hmm.
changed the quality, but they've raised the price,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. You can make money putting conch in your conch fritters. You can still make good
Yeah.
money.
I think the consistency is what brings the people back. You know what I'm saying? If
Hmm.
you can keep it consistent without increasing the price, like you say, a lot of places increase the price, but the food starts to taste different. It starts
Absolutely.
missing ingredients that okay, you be like, well, I don't taste this in here, you know. So, but the quality, it brings your customers back continuously.
Hmm.
Like I said,
Hmm.
I've seen the posts, I've seen all the responses and having people putting in orders and stuff like that. You know,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
you have something. So, but yeah,
I don't even put, if you notice, I don't even put it on Facebook anymore.
yeah, I haven't
That's
seen it.
because I have so many regulars
Mm-hmm.
that all I have to do is send them out a link. My daughter created a Google document
Where
for
they can fill
ordering.
in the form. So, but that's the first start right there. Your next step is to get your name trademark. You can get your recipe patent and
Which is very difficult. I did research
get
that.
your
Now I did
website.
do that.
Hmm.
Food products are hard to patent, to get patent.
Yeah, because a lot
Really
of people could
difficult.
use the same ingredients. You know,
Hmm.
but yeah, you gotta think like with ice cream, they got all these brands of ice cream. Pretty much all of them got the same ingredients except one thing. You know, but yeah, and then once you get the trademark, and then because you know when you eventually the patent may take a little bit longer, but that still doesn't stop you from putting it, you know, where it needs to be at on the market. And a lot of times you can start in the meat market, like she said, like the little seafood
Hmm.
markets, because
Hmm.
you know, and grocery stores. You can even start in like something like Aldi's, because you know stores like Aldi's, Presidente, they
Hmm.
carry stuff. You know, it's
Hmm.
an
Hmm.
island food. It's a Caribbean food.
Hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, get your website. They can go on there and process their orders on the website. That way, you'll know and you'll have like your certain days that that you have it available. You can also do it
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do it every day of the week, but you have your days that you do um, have your deliveries or however they come pick it up. And then eventually you can find a manufacturer that will follow your same ingredients, not changing anything, and then they could just ship it out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's something to be afraid about. You can get it done. You can get it done. Okay, so let's move on. So dim your light. When we talk about dimming your light, it could be talked about in various ways. I had a friend that says circumstantial dimming your light, meaning he was in a space where he couldn't really glow because of his surrounding. He's a dancer. He's a
Mm-hmm.
black dancer in a white space. So he
Mm-hmm.
has to carry himself accordingly. He has to kind of like dull it down.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you're out with friends and you have to tone it down because you have that one or two friends that don't have that confidence in themselves like you do. Then you have the individuals that's like, hey, I'm not dimming my light for nobody because, whatever they're dealing with is them. Whatever issues they have is them. But I'm here to help them find their light and help them shine. So,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever found yourself dimming your light at any point in time? If so, why and at what point did you realize that you have to let your light shine? Don't dim it for no one.
I think if you have something exceptional about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we all do, sometimes we just don't know what it is. I think you're going to find yourself in a space where you're trying to be who you are, but
Mm-hmm.
not step on anybody or not make anybody else feel small.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on track with the older you get, the wiser you get, because that's what's supposed to happen. You get to a point where that noise is no longer noise anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm at a point in my life where either you like me or you don't. And if you do, then we can do great things together. We can have great times, great conversations. Um, I can offer you what I have in terms of wisdom and experience. And I'm looking for what you can offer me
Yeah.
because I'm not all, I don't know everything. I'm always in a learning mode.
Yeah.
I'm always, my ears are always open and my mind is always open to learning from anybody, from the bum to a CEO. Everybody has something to offer. So yeah, there were times when I was younger, I used to always feel like I was um too nice, and I didn't like that about myself. It just seemed like the people who were more stern and mean or whatever seemed like they just had it together and they had all the respect. So
Yeah.
I didn't really like the fact until at some point in my life I realized that that was my gift.
Yeah.
My gift is to make people see the good in themselves, see the potential in themselves, which eventually led me to training.
Okay.
And that was my niche because that's what training is all about,
Mm-hmm.
pulling that thing, whatever that thing is, pulling it out of people and putting it in their face and showing them what's great about them.
Yeah.
And I love to do that. I love to um, just offer training based on my wisdom, based on my insight, and based on what God gives me, because sometimes I have to ask for Him to order my steps and guide my tongue. because certain
Yeah,
situations can be delicate, and I don't
yeah,
want to lose the person because my goal is to help them establish what their potential is, believe in themselves, and go for it.
correct.
So, training all of those recruits at the academy, you get them on the first day, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about corrections. They don't know anything about defensive tactics. They don't know, they've never handled a weapon.
Hmm.
And then you fast forward 4.5 months later and you watch them master all of that stuff because we were able to not just train them, but make them believe in themselves.
Correct.
All right.
That's powerful. That's a good that's a good way to look at it. So how
Mhm.
long you said it's only 4 months for the training though?
It used to be five, closer to five, but because of uh, budget
Mm-hmm.
stuff, they start to trim down the training and it got, less and less. And they're always massaging the training.
Now
Uh,
I'm gonna go a little bit. I wanna build on that too. So they're cutting the budget, which we see nowadays too. That's going on in today's society. So would you say that's not? Is it a good thing or bad thing that they're doing that? Like for it's like cutting down the budget on training and everything because from a lot of things that I've seen, I know people are like cut the budget, but you can't cut the budget with everything that's going on. You know, um, with the tactics and everything for it's like the training. So where exactly? Why is it that they're like as you called it massaging? Why do they feel the need that's necessary if we're having these individuals that pretty much don't know anything in that short period of time? Um, Especially when you have civilians that can read the laws, tell them the laws that they should know. Because did you all require them to know the laws in the books, different codes and all of that?
well, the academy is designed for trainees to learn the state objectives. What
Okay.
does the state of Florida require
Okay.
for correction officers? So it's pretty broad, but of course it doesn't cover everything.
Okay.
And anytime you ask a trainer, is it okay that they're trimming the training program? Is it okay? Never. You're never
Mhm.
going to get a trainer to agree with that because as a trainer, we feel like people should get as much training as possible.
Mhm.
So um that was hard
Yeah.
when they come to you and we have to get the schedule and we got to go down the schedule and say, okay, we can cut this, let's cut that.
Mm.
Let's give them 2 hours of training in this area versus 4 hours. And that hurts. That's very annoying. But on the flip side, we have to be open-minded as well as trainers. We have to be open-minded and understand and embrace the
Mhm.
fact that training can be done in a lot of different ways. So if you're going to cut a week of training out and say, let's put them in the facility a week early, it's like,
Mhm.
can't do that. But if you're going to put a field training officer out there with them
Uh-huh.
to be, to hold their hand, so to
Okay.
speak, that's a different way to accomplish the training. And now you have a body and because it all boils down to money. It all boils down to money and budget because corrections has a big budget. We have a
Yeah.
huge budget. So, um, and we have to get the officers who are already there to buy into receiving the baton because
Yeah.
it's like a 4x4
Okay.
race. We give them what they need at the academy to accomplish the state objectives and pass the state exam and become certified. But you certainly can't teach them everything they need to know at the academy.
Okay. That's just the
So when they
first
leave the
step.
academy and they step into that facility, they're going to feel like they didn't learn anything at the academy because it's the real world.
Correct.
It's the
Hands
real
on.
world.
Okay. That's interesting. I'll ask you some more questions off camera because I have a real complex when it comes to like the training, when it comes to these officers, how they're training these officers, the disciplinary. Like I trust me, I do a whole deep dive when I make posts on my page and
Hmm.
conversations that we have on live. So okay, so seasons. To everything, there's a season.
Hmm.
That includes people. Family members not excluded. So, sometimes in seasons when you're dealing with people outside of family, they're there permanently, a lifetime, a short period of time. People use you, people abuse you. But it's all an experience. So, have you ever found yourself in a season where you had been carrying along this person or two and you know you should have left them in the previous season? Because what I've come to find just by watching, observing and absorbing people is that they tend to carry baggage into several seasons before they decide to leave the baggage back in the previous season.
Hmm.
So if you have carried baggage to you in the season, in the new season that you should have previous left in the previous season, at what point did you realize like I can no longer carry this baggage with me? I have to step forward. They can't come along with me no longer.
We've all done that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, sometimes we let people drag us for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you learn from each situation. What the way my life is, I have if you can visualize how skee ball is,
Mm-hmm.
you have that little tight circle and out, out, out. That's kind of how I structure my life when it comes to people, family, friends, everybody. Everybody has a place.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to be a few people, just like you can only get a few balls typically in that little hole, that little one.
Yeah.
And then it expands and it's wider and wider. That's how I place people in my life. The ones on the outer bands, they're cool. We can kick it. We can talk about some things. Um, and the next one that closer, 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 closer. And that there are only a few people that are close in that little inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you place people where they belong, you won't be so affected by whatever baggage they bring, if that makes any sense.
Correct.
Because if I know you and I are cool, but I typically don't hear from you unless you want something from me, but I care about you, you're going to be closer to that outer ring.
Yeah.
So when you do that, it's no surprise to me because I know that's where you are, and that's where you are for a reason.
Correct. It's
Um,
levels. They have
Absolutely.
levels,
Absolutely.
different levels of friends and family, and it's interesting.
Absolutely.
I call a couple of my I call one of my friends out. I was like, oh, like when you not in a relationship, you call everybody, but when you get in a relationship, you nobody will hear from you. So I think I'm that way too. It's different hierarchy. I do it like in hierarchy. You do the band. It's like different levels to it. Um, I have a friend that every year reevaluates the circle and would say, "I'm trying to figure out how you benefit my life and what role do you play in my life." And if I don't see a fit, then you know you move to the outskirts of it. So that's definitely a good way to look at it.
Hmm.
I don't know why people do that. They only call you when you need something, or if you're always calling to check up on them, and they don't be that first person to initiate. Hey, how you doing? Just check up on you, unless they want something. You know,
It's
it's
okay.
yeah,
It's okay because I'm going to sleep well at night. You have to let people be who they are,
yeah.
and you have to see them for who they are and be okay with it. If she, like the one you mentioned, you said whenever she's in a relationship, you don't hear from her or whatever. So you're cool. You hang out more when she's not in a relationship. If she tells you, hey, I met this guy, whatever, and you know she's in a relationship, then
Oh yeah,
expect it.
yeah.
So
Oh
when you have, when a lot of times the mistake that we make is we judge people by ourselves.
yeah,
We judge people by who we are. So it's like if I don't if I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna still call Lyric every day. So if
exactly.
Lyric's in a relationship, why can't she call me every day still? What I've done is I've judged you or I've expected you to be
Like you,
like me.
yeah.
If you let people be who they are and you don't have you don't place all these expectations on them, then you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's expecting people or how you expect people to act or expect people to do. It's actually been out the door for me. Expecting anything. The only thing I can expect is expect from myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can only expect from yourself. You really don't nowadays. You really don't shouldn't put expectations on other individuals other than
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You know
No,
what I'm
I meet
saying?
people where they are.
Yeah, you have
I've
to.
had fallouts with a few family members, but I still love them,
hmm Just deal
but
with it
we're
from a
not gonna
distance.
go on a cruise together.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Because it wouldn't work.
no.
It wouldn't work at all. I definitely understand. So we was talking about your layers, your outer bands, your how you deal with and handle people, right? So thinking about those individuals, and when you think about trust, honesty, loyalty, um, betrayal, deceit. So that combination of words, you know, they kind of in limbo with each other. So how would you handle a situation um, with someone who's been in your circle for a minute? They've been close to you, um, loyal, honest. You guys can share anything with. But how would you deal with them if they betrayed you? If they just did something that it was just unthinkable, you wouldn't expect this out of them, and it just bam out of nowhere. How would you handle a situation like that?
In their face. I am a very in your face, very transparent kind of person. And
hmm
that is not me saying that I'm this tough chick.
Correct.
I do that because probably 85% of the time there's some miscommunication.
hmm
And depending on how we received it or how we perceive it,
Correct.
we react. So if this person has always been loyal and all of those other things you mentioned, and all of a sudden went sideways, we we gotta talk. We gotta talk. I'm not going to assume anything. I'm not going to um, sever the relationship until we have a talk, not a text, but a talk, a face to face where I can say, hey, I'm feeling real hurt here. I'm feeling like you did this, you said that, you betrayed me. Why? And that person is either gonna tell you why and apologize, or they may just tell you, "Hey, it's not like that.
Yeah.
I know it seemed like it was, but because so and so and this happened and I did that way and because that person, no, I would never do that to you." So now we have a dialogue that makes sense.
Correct.
Now you're helping me make sense of the situation. So then I get to decide whether this is legit or it's not, or, I get to decide based on all the information. Because too many times we jump to conclusion and we cut people out of our life. We stop trusting them. We cry in silence because they hurt us. And we never, ever get in that person's face. I'm going to be in your face. Hey, you got to talk to me. You got to tell me what happened. Tell me. That's how I handle it.
That's fair enough. I think a lot of times we do get um, analyze or perceive a message wrong, especially when it's text. I just think
Mm-hmm.
like important
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, we should, hey, have a conversation on the phone and then a face to face type thing, because you know somebody texting in all caps and be like, "Why you yelling?" But you're not yelling. You know, it may be expressing some emotion or some passion or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely understand that having that conversation, not just going back and forth via text or making subliminal messages on social media and stuff like that, what they do
Mm-hmm.
and what I
Mm-hmm.
see now. It'd be quite interesting. You know, I'd be like, hey, why y'all just can't have a conversation? Why you putting everything out on the media?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, since we're on this subject, so let me ask you this. What would you say the difference is now than it was before in like around your 20s or so growing up? How you decided who would be in your inner circle close to you?
That's an interesting question. I think it's based on what we give to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Belinda and I talk every day, sometimes three, four times a day. But I bounce things off of her. She bounces things off of me. We trust each other. Um, you're not going to, I used to tell my kids, you're going to have three, four loyal, good friends at best
Yeah.
in your lifetime. So it just depends on what my comfort level is with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm friendly, I can kick it with a lot of people. I tend to like people that a lot of people don't like. I'm
Correct.
drawn to that person because it's like everybody has something to offer that's good. Um, it depends on your personality. Like my daughter Terry is like me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody come in. Everybody come. I love everybody. Y'all come in. But when you mess up,
That's it.
ooh, yeah, you get kicked to that outer band. Tia, on the other hand, is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta work like hell to get in. Everybody ain't coming in. You gotta work like hell to get in. But once you're in, she's the most loyal person ever. Very loyal. But everybody can't come in.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, night and day. Definitely
Night and day.
understand. And you actually can you actually when you around both, you actually already pick up that vibe like from the beginning about the personality and how they take in people. You know, there is different angles when they dealing with people, especially outside.
Hmm.
Cool,
People
cool.
who are like that typically they're people who are not going to give you the opportunity to hurt them.
Yeah, yeah,
You can't always control it, but you can minimize it. So
yeah.
if I don't let a lot of people in, then there's not a lot of
Uh,
opportunity
to get hurt.
to be hurt, to be
Yeah.
disappointed, to be betrayed, so on and so forth.
I think I play like in the middle. I
Hmm.
play in the middle. Like I can be nice, friendly to anybody, strangers, stuff like that. But I'm still watching you with a close eye. I like to. A lot of friends, my friends say this about me. I sit back and observe people. I don't even have to know you. I'll sit back and just watch the room, and I could tell you about 50% of the people in the room that I'm observing, just sitting there, just paying attention, not even saying anything, not even in a conversation with them, but just by me visually watching them, how they interact with others, conversations that they're in, how they're talking. I can pretty much tell like whether or not, nah, I can't hang out with you. Nah, we can't be friends type scenario. So I
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. So we're gonna move on and talk about forgiveness because this kind of follow suit with what we were just talking about. Forgiveness. So forgiveness, as we know, lift a heavy load. But when you don't forgive, it can cause a lot of mental, physical distress and everything. It can be like a downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times forgiveness is not easy for others. It's a process. Somebody could do something to them and they forgive them that same day. I had a friend that said um, she forgives a person. um, I asked her if she walks by that person could she have a conversation, and she said she might not have a conversation, but she could say hello and keep it moving. And I asked her, is that really forgiving somebody fully? So I want to ask you, is it easy for you to forgive? If so, what is your process of forgiving somebody? If not, how long does it typically take you to forgive somebody, or is it based upon the severity of what they have done?
Wow. Well, I'm a Dixon, and we have a reputation for, for cutting folks off forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it depends on our conversation. We got to
Okay.
have a conversation. I'm big on that.
Okay.
If you're big enough, woman enough, man enough to say to me, I screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up. I know I hurt you. That wasn't cool. I hope it's much easier for me to forgive you. Now, of course, there are some things that there's not supposed to be anything that's unforgivable, but
Correct.
there are, in the flesh sense of it and the human sense of it. You hurt one of my kids, or like I see these people in court after somebody's murdered their child, and they said, I forgive you. Mm. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Uh, but just regular stuff that's not catastrophic, I can forgive very
Mm-hmm.
easily. But like you said about your friend, she said she can speak and be cordial, and you said, is that really forgiveness? Maybe that is for her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what she can handle.
Okay.
Um, but the thing about forgiveness, when someone wrongs you, it depending on what it is, you see them differently.
Mm-hmm.
You may never see them quite the same. You may never let them in quite as close as they used to be, but you might.
Okay.
Uh,
Like that. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back to you momentarily.
Okay.
Grandma, Grandma, hey, I'm getting tired. I need you to drive. I'm getting tired. I need you to drive the rest of the way home. So you tired? Yeah, I'm getting tired. Can you drive the rest of the way home for me? Can I pull over and you drive for me? Huh? Say what? I said I'm tired. I'm getting tired. Can you drive the rest of the way home for me? No, I can't drive the rest of the way home. Why? I'm tired myself. So you rather for us to be on the side of the road instead of you driving home? All right, welcome back. Let's hop back into it. So, living in your past. A lot of people tend to live in a past for whatever reason it is. Maybe it's to relive something that they done previous years, or sometimes you have that individual too that always bringing their past up, saying it's the reason why they can't thrive currently. So, have you ever found yourself living in your past? And at what point did you snap out of it and say, okay, that was then, this is now, I need to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, when I was working, I got promoted to corporal, which is a first line supervisor.
Mm
And I would always say, when I got close to retirement and when I retired, why did I not keep going? Why did I not um, go as high as being a chief or an assistant director or a director?
hmm. Mm hmm.
And I would kind of beat myself up. It's like, why didn't I do that? And at one point, when I was younger, I would put all those people who were in those positions on a pedestal high as the clouds.
Mm
So I always felt like, man, you gotta be a genius, you gotta be brilliant, you gotta be exceptional
hmm. Mm
to
hmm.
make those ranks to get that high. So as I spent more time in the department and as I was a trainer, there were times when I had to interact with them for whatever reason in meetings or on a project or whatever.
Mm hmm.
And what I learned is that I was just as smart as they were.
Yeah.
I was just as smart, just as skilled, and they are exceptional, most of them.
Mm hmm.
Um, so I used to beat myself up. Why did you just stay at corporal? You could have done so much more. You could have, and the way I deal with that, I always say, you know what? I was where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was at the academy. Had I been a chief or assistant director or any of those positions, I would not have been able to reach those cadets, those recruits. I would not have been able to help them with some personal stuff, help them get over some hurdles that they didn't think they were going to get over to be able to become an officer. And I was able to do that a lot for a lot of people. I was able to help them and reach them and mentor them. So that's where God wanted me.
Yeah.
So when I remember that, I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I mean, he always put you where you need to be at, and you were probably the right person for that position because, like you said, you was able to reach them. And sometimes in any job, trainers or whatever, a lot of times even managers, they're not able to reach that person. They can't connect with them, so it turns out to be bad training that's received because they're not understanding that this person may need to be trained like this, or this person is going through something, or this person may need this extra push and don't believe it. So, you, you can say, yes, you was in the right position. You know what I'm saying? So you can make an impact on individuals' lives that help them because, like I said, all the time, you don't get those type of trainers that would say,
Hmm.
I believe in you, you got to believe in yourself, I'm going to help you through this.
Hmm.
It's just sometimes they just cut throat and they don't care what you're going through in your personal life. They don't care if you're not confident in yourself or motivated enough. It's kind of like you either pass or you don't type thing, or you'll be back in here again. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah, that makes sense. Yes, you was
Yeah, we
where you
had
needed to be.
trainees who I was there a lot of years, so we had trainees who were homeless. We found
Mm.
out one trainee kept coming to school with wrinkled uniform. That's a
Ah.
huge no-no, a
Uh huh.
huge no-no. So it's like bring him in. Let's find out what's going on. What's going on? You don't have an iron or what's and we found out he was homeless. He was
Wow.
doing the best he could. We found out we had a trainee living in a house with 3 or 4 kids with no lights. Um, a trainee who came to school, she had a black eye. She said she ran into the door. And the more
boyfriend.
I
Wow.
dug into it, she's home, being abused. So you have to care about their personal lives
Mm-hmm.
because it affects what they do there. And that'll
Wow.
carry itself over into the job as well if you don't correct it
Mm-hmm.
at the academy level. So yeah,
Okay.
it was where I was supposed to be.
Okay. So did those fruit did they make it through and they're
She didn't.
okay.
She didn't because she didn't want to. She was so into protecting him
Oh,
that
he
it
would have been
ended
locked
up
up.
costing her career.
Wow. Yeah.
We couldn't help her. We could because she wouldn't help herself.
Yeah.
So she just kept telling lies and she kept dug a deep hole for herself that we couldn't pull her out of.
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah, it's sad. But we can't save them all. But we
Yeah.
can certainly try.
Try to. Yeah. You'll reach some, but not all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
See that lady back there?
Mm-hmm. You know I
She
was the favorite great niece, right? I'm
is
just letting you
that
know. I'm just letting you
okay,
know.
okay, I'll give you that.
Every time she saw me, she's like, "There go my camera girl." Her and Aunt Lizzie, they used to always say, they was like, "I saw you on a commercial dancing." I was like, "What commercial?" I was like, "I don't think that was me."
You would know if that was you,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, "That wasn't me." But thank you.
She gave me all the tools that I needed to be who I am. And you don't really realize it until you get older. Um, she taught me a lot about compassion, always helping people. Every time I look around, I come over to her house. I'm like, who is that over there? Some new person she's allowed to come and stay in her house. And, well, that's Andrew's girl. Andrew's already living there.
Mhm.
That's Andrew's girlfriend.
So she don't
I
move
see, but I
in.
thought you told me she was a crackhead. Yeah, but she don't have nowhere to. Okay. And she just taught me compassion. She would freeze gallons of water, put them in her freezer, and I would be fussing. Why are you freezing water? Do you know how much room this is taking up in the freezer? She would never answer me.
Uh huh.
But it was Tia or Terry who told me later. Um, Granny used to take us under the bridge where those people live under the bridge, and she would give them
Mm.
the frozen gallons of water so that when it started to melt, they would have cold water. And she, you know, she just she taught me so much, taught me how to cook, taught me how, and would make me be in the kitchen when I wanted to be doing something else. She would make me stand right there and cut this, peel this, chop that, and I would. But I love to cook. As a result,
Yeah.
I'm a decent cook. So yeah, she's been the most influential person, and I know that sounds very cliche, but she is. She
Yeah.
just was. She
Definitely.
told me when I was wrong, and she just was.
Said it with a smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Always, always smiled at her, regardless of what
Mm-hmm.
she talked about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait, you know how to make a caramel cake with the homemade caramel icing?
I don't like caramel cake. Everybody loves that cake. If I liked
Yeah.
it, I would probably bake it, but it doesn't do it for me. I'm
Yeah,
a
but
German chocolate girl.
oh nah, that's too much. Too much chocolate. Nope. Absolutely not. There's too much chocolate. I think I used to, growing up, I used to eat like the solid chocolate candy bar, like rabbits and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
cannot eat chocolate like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not a I can bake
Hmm.
because she taught me how to bake, but it's really not my favorite thing to do. I like to cook.
You like to cook.
Yeah, cook. Baking is a lot of work, and you got one product when you finish. It just never appealed to me,
I mean,
but I can do it.
that's why I take a little time. Cause you gotta make sure everything is, that's why. Okay. I'll figure out how to make it.
Somebody in Clewiston makes it. I don't
Well,
know who
yeah,
it is.
she Miss oh man, I forgot her name. Yeah, but she makes them. But sometimes like you with your conch, like she gets so many orders in, they have to chop it off, like cause they be busy. The daughter be in there, the husband be in there, Miss Mickey, they be in there, and like I think either Christmas or Thanksgiving, they said they had about like close to 100 orders, and they're talking about like 2 layer, 3 layer cakes and the
Ooh.
loaves themselves. And I was like, all I wanted was a loaf. That's it, you know. But she was like, they had to cut the orders off because it was like a lot, and they were baking that whole week up until, you know,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. But I think my little cousin, my aunt said my little cousin Titus know how to make it. So
Yeah.
may see what he hitting with and working with and stuff like that, or just make it by myself. Take my time,
Yeah, just
make it
take your
myself like
time,
that.
follow the recipe, and then you'll know next time what you did,
Yeah.
what you would do different the next time. You
Mm-hmm.
just,
Cause it's just more of
yeah.
the sauce. It's like caramel sauce. It's not too sweet. It's not too. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
in between. That's all you need. Just
Mm-hmm.
that in
Mm-hmm.
betweenness. Okay. So I told you sometimes I like to deviate a little bit.
That's all right.
So how would you define success in your own life?
Good health and a good mind.
I like that. You
When
do
you're
that.
healthy, you can do a lot of things. When you have a good mind, you can accomplish whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the foundation for any success.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
relationships with family and friends. Just that's success. When I was younger, it would have been a different answer. But when you have people around you who love you, I have two daughters who love me. They don't play about me. They do whatever they can within their power to make me happy. And healthy grandchildren, a husband who loves me. That's success.
Yeah.
Because you have folks with Bentleys and mansions and
And they going through it on,
they lonely.
you
They don't, yeah,
money
yeah, I'm
is
good.
money is not, it's crazy because a lot of people, I see a lot of people, I want to be rich, I want to be wealthy, I want this, I want that. But in actuality, if you look over the course of years, how many wealthy millionaires, billionaires have either committed suicide, most of them committed suicide, or or OD'd on drugs
Mm-hmm.
because they have all this money. You have all these yes people around you that's not being real with you, and bam, that's it. You still not getting that fulfillment that you think you should have because you have all of this money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think about when it comes to these people, like who are surrounded by, who these people are surrounded by, and do they just say yes to everything, or do they check them and put them in their place when they're wrong, or say no, or do they use their money like in the situation of the Jackson, MJ, where they really couldn't tell him what to do because he had money.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't like what you were saying, it's kind of like, okay, find me somebody else who's gonna do what I tell them to do,
Mm-hmm.
type thing. So, and that's kind of like a dangerous power to have as well. I think it's like a double
Well, I
edged
want it
sword.
now. I want a lot of money,
Yeah,
but I want money to impact others' lives.
yeah,
That's why I want money.
yeah.
I might buy me a little Tahoe. One day I'm gonna get a Tahoe. One day. Um, and I might do some things, but I would like to impact others' lives.
I think that's
I,
what it
I,
is.
yeah,
That's a good thing.
when I see when I go somewhere and the waitress is 65 years old and she's limping, she can barely walk.
It's sad.
Had money, that's my first thought. I would find out what she needed, and that would be her last day at work.
Yeah, I don't.
On a lot of money.
It's a lot of elderly people that are working. Now, some of them do them just to keep busy and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
some of them are actually like working. It's like, yo, like, why they need to be off their feet. They need to be
Yeah.
home relaxing. Companions. Some, go to the little centers and stuff like that. I think with me, like, I always work with homeless people. I work with homeless people like forever. For like, I used to. It was crazy because when I was in Tallahassee, it seemed like this one guy would always used to locate my car. I'd be at the gas station and I'll see the same guy. I was like, wait a minute, I just saw him at the gas station up the block. Now I'm at this gas station a couple of days later. It's the same homeless guy. And I always used to give out money, $2 here, $2 there. And then once I realized like how much money I was giving out over the course of the year, to homeless people, I was like, okay, we have a food pantry. We used to get these packs with like cereals, canned goods and stuff. So I would just
Mm-hmm.
pack my trunk with them. And when I see a homeless person, I would give it to them and like, here you go, da da da. Or the one particular guy, I didn't have no cash on me. I just had an orange. So I gave him an orange, and he got mad. Like, I don't want this orange. I was like, well, give me my orange back. Like, what, So it's some homeless people are grateful, and then some of them are like too picky. If and it's kind of like, how can you be picky but you don't have nothing but you're begging for something? So that kind of throws me sometimes with some of these homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
I had a father and son. It was like late night. Come from bartending at a lounge that I used to bartend at, and it was like maybe like 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning. Um, at the gas station, and they started walking. I was like, no, don't walk over to the car. Hold on. I'm going in the
Mm-hmm.
store. What's going on? Ask them what they need. And so I said, get whatever you want. Get you a couple of sandwiches. Get you something to drink. Right. So as they was getting it, because I guess the clerks them had told them to get out the store, don't do it. I said, well, I'm gonna take care of whatever they're gonna get, the sandwiches and stuff, and the beverage. I said, can they use the microwave? I told them, hey, warm up your sandwich, whatever, whatever. And so I yelled in the back. I said, I'm not buying no beer, so you better get a Gatorade or water, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
was like, what? What'd you say? So this black guy walks in. He said, she said she not buying no beer. Get you a Gatorade or juice. But they were very appreciative versus the ones that try to be real, you know, try to be picky about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the misconceptions about homeless people that people tend to um, box them in is that all of them are on drugs. All
Mm-hmm.
of them are on drugs. All of them are alcoholics. All of them this and that. And that perception is actually wrong because I had a client, my business partner. I had a client, and she was once homeless, and we helped her start her homeless nonprofit, and just working alongside with those homeless people. I had already been working with them and my business partner, but just working beside them with her, and actually sitting down and having one-on-one conversations with them, and we did this every Sunday. A lot of them just was one paycheck away from homelessness. You know what I'm saying? You had the ones that, okay, that tried to help everybody, would get an apartment and let just people come in and stay, and got evicted because they let other people stay there. Then
Mm-hmm.
you had your mental health cases, but
A lot of that.
my particular one-on-one mental health, he told me straight up. I said you're handy. I said you could do all this work. Why won't you go get a job? Where you can get better. He said because he said honestly, he said I know how to get off the streets. I done been off the streets 2 times, but he said I don't like to follow rules because the location where he was at, he had to be in by a certain time. Can't have people in. And he said I don't. He was like I'm a grown. He's a grown man, and no other adult finna tell him what to do. So he preferred to stay on the streets. He said, I don't want to work on no people's job. I like when they just come and get me when they need construction work done or go clean up something. He said, because I don't want to be hiring on people's jobs. So he was being very transparent. And when we had the worksheets, when was the last time you got high? He was like, last night. So you have your level of the homeless
Mm-hmm.
people that are very educated, that are very intelligent, but then you have the ones that are in that limbo. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's what I would want to do. Help homeless people. Kind of had an issue when they moved it's called Tent City in
Mm-hmm.
Lake Worth, and they had like when you get as soon as you get off 95, you have the university, the college right there, and then there's the big old park, and you will see a whole bunch of tents, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
homeless people. They weren't bothering nobody. They had done, their tents. That's where they lived at.
Mm-hmm.
But they got rid of them to put a doggy park there.
Mm.
A doggy park. I'm like, so y'all care more about these dogs than y'all care about these human beings, but then y'all
Yes.
pushing them and they don't have nowhere to go. Like, make it make sense because they're not hiring them if they're coming off the streets because it's like a lot of people say, oh, they could go get a job just like we got a job, da da da. They look cleaner than some of us. That may be true, but if they're homeless, a lot of these companies are not going to hire them because I seen it firsthand when this young lady walked in. She told them, "Hey, I don't like chocolate. I'm allergic to chocolate. Don't put chocolate in my drink." And two times they put it in there, and all she told the manager came and make it, and she was like, she has a bad attitude. She needs better training, you know. And so the girl, lipping like she's just telling you the truth. You got a bad attitude. I'm telling you how to make my drink. Um, I can come back there and show you how to make the drinks. And when she asked the manager, "Are they hiring?" He said no, but they had a big sign that says, "We're hiring." She was homeless. She was clean though. So when people say they could go get a job, are these companies actually going to hire them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of it's interesting though. It's real
Mm-hmm.
interesting. That's all
Yeah.
I gotta
It's
say.
just sad. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you balance your personal life and your professional life to maintain an overall well-being?
You have to be very calculated.
Mm-hmm.
I I write everything down. I have a list for everything.
Okay.
When I know I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish in a short period of time, I write everything down on the list and then I put numbers by them, which one I want to do first, which one I want to do, because I don't try to do it as I'm writing them down. I just write them down. I want to do
Okay.
this today. I want to get in the yard today. I want to go to the bank today. I want to make sure I make a call to Lyric today. I just write as it comes to my head. And then I go back and I prioritize them, what I want to do first, what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do second. And at the end of the day, based on how many things I got to scratch off that list, that tells me, I mean, that gives me a sense of accomplishment.
Do you spill it? Do you do what you don't complete on the list and you take carry over to the next day?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It's funny you say that. I'm gonna tell you why. So I have a couple of these that are already completed. The spiral notebooks, and
Mhm.
in this notebook, it has what I need to do for each day, right? And I do the same thing, number it, and whatever I don't complete, I go over to the next day. I think it's a good way like to help you keep on track, keep you focused, and make sure that you're being productive. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
definitely, I definitely agree uh, with that tactic.
Mhm.
You know,
It works.
yeah,
It
it
works.
really
And when
does, cause
it keeps you on track too.
and
It
you're
keeps
not
you.
scattered trying to figure out what I gotta do, what I gotta do next, what I got. You don't feel that sense of I know I gotta be doing something, but I just
Mhm.
can't figure out what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I get distracted easily.
Uh
I
huh.
know if I'm uh If I don't have that kind of list going on,
Mm-hmm.
I'll, be watching TV, then I'll start a load of clothes, then I might cook, then I might pass by the bathroom and say that rug needs to be shake. I'll shake the rug. I'm all over the place.
Multitasking.
And there's really it is such a thing, but it's not because
Mm-hmm.
if you want a complete thing, you got to give it your attention.
Correct.
Because when you're trying to do too much multitasking, you leave stuff half done, undone, So that list helps me a lot.
Okay. I
It
like
keeps
that.
me on track. I even go as far, like if I only have 4 hours before I have to leave the house to do something, but there's some things I want to accomplish in the house. I'll go as far as to allocate a time frame
Mm.
for each of those things.
I like that.
Like, I want to spend 30 minutes in the living room. I want to spend 45 minutes in the kitchen. I want to spend 20 minutes in the bathroom. And I just set a timer. When I start the bathroom,
Oh, okay.
hey Siri, give me an alarm in 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
or in 15 minutes starting now. Oh, thank you, Siri. And that's that, and that's what she does. Or I'll do it for 15. And then when she tells me that I know I have 5 more minutes to be done.
Uh-huh. I
So
like.
I that is amazing. It
I,
really keeps you on track.
I think I'm gonna start doing that's. I'm glad you said that. 'Cause I think I'm gonna start doing that for everything. Cause I only do it with certain things, but
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate that into my agenda for how many, um, how long I need to spend with each thing. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
that's good.
it works like a charm. If you want
Yeah.
to do 20 minutes, set it for 15 or 16 minutes.
Mm.
So that alarm go, you got 4 minutes to wrap it up and be done.
Uh huh. Yeah, mine's normally I normally like with the things I do use a timer for. I normally set it, and once it go off, that's it. Move to the next thing or do something else. Or like if I have to go somewhere, I kind of give myself like maybe 30 minutes ahead of the time, so give me enough time
Hmm.
to leave and everything. Okay. So,
Yeah.
in what ways do you continue to learn and grow, both personally and professionally?
Well, personally, I grow from doing what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Whenever I can interact with someone who wants to interact about whatever it is, I always walk away learning something. Either I learn something new about how to do something, or I learn something new about that person that I didn't know before. But the objective is achieved. I've learned something. I walk away learning something. So communication is key. It is what has been poisoned by social media and cell phones because we don't talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
We don't talk to each other. So, in order to grow personally, you got to communicate. And we feed off of each other. We either
Mm-hmm.
learn when I interact with somebody, I learn something about them. I learn what to do. Sometimes I learn what not to do. You know. Um, but nevertheless, I've learned something. And professionally, I watch the professional.
Mm-hmm.
If I love to cook and I love to find new ways to prepare things, so I'll watch a YouTube video on how to prepare whatever, or I'll watch a TV show, cooking show. And you never get too old to learn.
Nah,
You
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 don't.
you, you should stop learning when you close your eyes for the last time. That's when you stop learning.
Mm-hmm. So, since you like to cook, have you ever thought about like just filming yourself making something and talking through it, ingredients like,
Actually, I
hey,
kind of did that
uh huh,
with the comforter batter because this was a few years ago, probably 4 years ago.
mm-hmm,
Um, I see a lot of people want comforters. Like I had some Hispanic people buying a couple white, and they love comforters, but they really don't know how to cook them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of did a little tutorial in my kitchen and, just the grease and how much grease, because they don't know. And that got so many views. It was insane. It blew my mind. Yeah, I see your wheels turning. It blew.
I was going, I was going to say it because I was saying like since you like to cook, start recording you and talking to the camera what you're cooking, or even just go live on Facebook and what you're cooking. You know what I'm saying? Again, getting the people to view while you cooking. You still interact. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Da da da.
Mhm.
They interact. What you cooking tonight? Well, tonight I'm cooking this, this, and this. Or you could just pre-record it and upload it. You know what I'm saying? Tell them what you need. Let's say you have like maybe you making a special, maybe you making some jerk chicken and some steam marinated something. And you may have a
Mhm.
special sauce and you have
Mhm. Mhm.
the ingredients you need. First, you do this, and they're watching you as you prepare the meal and everything. That's something. I
Yeah, I've
mean,
been
you
asked
like
to
you
do
like
that.
cooking.
Yeah, I do. Um, but my if I had to say anything about myself, I'm like a kid when I'm doing something and I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the flavor of the month.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing it right now. It's like a kid who loves a toy
Mm-hmm.
and they play with that toy all day, and the next day they don't even look at the toy.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my personality is. Because I don't do well with being locked into anything.
Gotcha.
That's why I haven't pursued things that like trying to get the conch batter in it, because that is a long process, and I don't really think that I'm not gonna stay the course.
Okay.
And that comes from a lot of things, but mainly from being an only child.
Okay.
I go from, it's like, I don't want to do it that. I don't want to play no more. So I want to do something else. So that's why Facebook is so fitting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a post. I might be in the middle of doing anything and something will weigh heavy on my mind, and I'll stop what I'm doing, go to my computer, post it, and go back. And there are days when that happens. That might happen 5 times in that day. So people say, you on Facebook all day? I've done 100 things, but in between those things, I've stopped and posted it and got it off my, it's like I have to get it off my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
so,
mean, you don't necessarily people don't understand like you don't have to sit on Facebook all
mm-mm,
day just to make a quick little
mm-mm,
post and then doing
mm-mm,
work because it's one thing if you're sitting on there all day that means you're scrolling, you're liking, you're tagging,
mm-hmm,
you're posting.
mm-hmm,
That's being on Facebook all day. But a quick, let me write this real quick and keep it moving. That's a good thing. But I can say your posts have messages in them. A lot of people, a lot of your posts go over a lot of people's head. I could tell. I could tell a lot of the posts go over their head that they're not really paying attention to what you're saying in
well,
context.
it steps on toes too
Yeah,
sometimes.
it does.
And the posts that don't get a lot of traction, that don't get a lot of,
That's where it hits.
yeah,
But you got you
like,
gotta expect that all the time because
yeah.
you have to because I know I write a lot of controversial stuff and mine is more towards talking about police,
Mm-hmm,
talking
mm-hmm,
about racism, politics. I'm digging into stories and I'm writing what my thought process is on there. I'm like, hey, let's have a conversation about it.
mm-hmm,
Let's
mm-hmm,
talk about it versus them putting something on by, oh, did you see Swiss Beat? Did you see Alicia Keys this and oh Usher? Da, da. That's not
mm-hmm,
important. Them people got money. Do
mm-hmm.
you really think they care about what y'all think with this? He's not insecure.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? You got two big
Mm-hmm.
music giants performing. What's the problem? But it's only our people that's making something about it when they should be worried
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on in legislation, who's running in your primaries in your local area, because you got to worry
Mm-hmm.
about the primaries. Primaries affect you. They have this thought process that primary that the presidential is the only important vote. It's not. We focus on stuff that really don't make sense instead of focusing on stuff that makes sense and that has a message, underlying message in what's being said. 'Cause I definitely like that post when you were telling them stop showing up to people's birthday parties and weddings without a gift or a card.
Mm-hmm. That's
Like,
my lane. That's my zone. I don't
yeah,
do,
it's
there's certain things I stay away from.
yeah,
I don't I don't do politics, mainly because it never ends well.
yeah,
And you gotta have some big chops to step
oh yeah,
into politics. I don't possess to have those chops. I don't do religion. I may
oh,
touch on it, but I
that's
don't
another
get,
one. Yeah,
that's
it's
another one. I don't do abortion. I don't
Mhm.
touch abortion. It's never going to end well.
Yeah,
And I definitely don't touch lifestyle
hmm,
because somebody's going to say something ugly.
yeah,
So I stay away from that. I don't post about those things and I don't comment on those type of posts.
correct.
Um, but yeah, certain I'm more of a common sense kind of this is what we should be doing, this is what we shouldn't be
Follow
doing.
suit order type thing that you should have been
Yeah,
taught manners and
yeah,
what you should kind of like what you should and should not be doing in the sense of when it comes to certain things.
yeah.
Because I
I
mean,
people keep pushing me to write a book. I said, well, what would I title it? I
um,
said, shit you should know.
yeah, yeah, I like it because it's straight to the point, and then the title itself says enough, meaning common sense. And if you go back to all the posts since you started Facebook and just look in, take a deep dive, all you're doing is recollecting those and putting them in a book form, but you're adding more to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought
Do's
about that.
do's and don'ts for attending a person's wedding. If you only have one guest, don't add a plus. Don't bring two more people with you. If you didn't RSVP for this birthday party, don't show up because you're not on the list. You know that. I mean, that's stuff. That's stuff that needs to be put in the book because it'll sell. Because just based off the title itself,
Hmm.
it'd be like, oh, I want to deep dive into this. Let me see what this about. You
Hmm.
know, so I mean,
Calling people, somebody invite you and you call and say, hey, can I bring so and so? No, if it's a plated event, they only sent you the invitation for you and maybe
mm-hmm,
one other person because that's what, they're paying for. They're paying per, and I think people don't understand the difference between a party and a plated event.
mm-hmm.
When you paying 60, 70, $80 per plate and they want to bring Junebug and his girlfriend.
Mm-mm. Escort it back out. You ain't on the list. I ain't got no. I listen. We did a wedding, and I guess the groom brother, um, they didn't have her on the list to come. He didn't have no plus one, I don't think. So we looking at the list. She not on the list. He was like, she should be on the list. I should, she should. Right. She is not on the list. So I don't know if he went and talked to the mama or went and talked to the brother himself, but she did end up getting in. But it's stuff like that because when it comes to a list, if you're not on that list, I don't had to go off on a couple of people at weddings because they weren't on the list, and then they're telling me I talked to you and confirmed you. No, You didn't talk to me. I don't even know your name, so I couldn't have talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what turns out, the bride and groom were inviting people outside of the list to attend. And it was so crazy that they shut down the open bar. That's how bad it was because they went over the capacity. It wasn't enough, like people was eating that should not have been eating. And those people that RSVP and that was supposed to be there, they didn't get no food. They didn't have no seats. It was crazy, and they tried to blame it on poor plant. I'm like, nah, no. I'm the one that's gonna check it. My sister, she's gonna be, oh, we're gonna no. Let me handle them. You go deal with the bride and groom because you can't do that. It's out
Mm-hmm.
of order, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot when it comes to um house grooming. I mean, I'm gonna call it just house grooming because it's being in order, knowing order. Don't just do what you want to do, like you say. Don't try to invite two other people when this invitation only says your name. It doesn't say a plus one, doesn't say a plus two. It only says your name. So I think you should. You got two projects you could deep dive into and partake. Now, if you don't want to do the book, I suggest you record and post the videos of the stuff that comes to your mind
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. It's just a click to a press it, talk to Karen. You know what? If a person send you an invitation, you just go into your listener and then click that real post. Bam, there you go. Now you got a video. Now you just putting your videos out there. Now you're doing it verbal.
Mm-hmm.
You're comfortable with the camera now. You know.
Yeah.
So I think they'll really they feel and hear what you see what you posting and reading. They feel it, but I think they'll feel it even more if they hear they hear it in your voice, the passion, that you really this is you. You're teaching etiquette when you go places. Etiquette. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
etiquette.
Yeah. We hurting in that department really
We're
bad.
hurting in a lot of department.
That even like I was talking to somebody. Okay, like the family reunions.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that's a beast. It's a
Yeah.
monster.
Yes.
And you cannot have a successful family reunion unless first thing you got to have is a team.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a team, not two people, not four people and two of them in and out, half in, half out. You need a strong team of people you can match task to
Mm-hmm.
talent and be able to depend on them to uh, fulfill that.
Yeah.
And it's evident when we have family reunions. It's evident when that happens, and it's evident when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks were upset about that last Clewiston um, family reunion. Very
Mm-hmm.
upset. And I'm usually the one who will, like I called LaVaughn one time about one of the reunions, and I told her because I said I don't want anybody telling you what I said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's scary because that's something that could hinder a relationship.
Yeah.
Like if Clewiston feel like the next time Clewiston has it, if they gonna have it, and 80% of the family don't show up. That's scary to me because that can be hurtful to whatever Clewiston family has planned it.
Correct.
But on the flip side, they have to be realistic and being determining if they can do it because it's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It is not a
It's a
one
lot
or
of work.
two. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff to consider, and you have to consider that people are coming and they're spending a lot of money, even though it's Clewiston. You got to travel there. You got to get a hotel. The hotel's not cheap. You got to pay your reunion fees. You're gonna buy your t-shirt. You're spending money, so you have a level of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I don't want to see is any bad feelings on either side because people will leave the reunion and they'll talk, 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 but they don't talk to the person
Yeah.
who did it. And that's the disconnect that could end up being hurtful.
Yeah. Have a conversation.
Have the conversation.
Yeah.
Have the conversation. Be realistic, be transparent, because we didn't get to 55 years just willy-nilly in it.
Nah. It's been a
It's
journey.
yes, and it's been some blood, sweat, and tears put into to that.
Yeah.
Um, so having said that, I'm always open for dialogue.
Gotcha. That's it. I love it.
Sometimes,
I just
sometimes.
say put it on film so we can connect. I made eye contact, and then a person may be, they may go back and share the video. You need to listen to this, or
Hmm.
you need to hear this because I think the sharing of the video is a little bit more better than the sharing of the post. The sharing of the post is good, but the video is better,
Yeah,
you know.
video is always better.
And once they get that video, they already know you coming with some good stuff to say.
Hmm.
Be like, oh, what's
Hmm.
she finna say today? Oh, or they'll be waiting for that post. Be like, okay, dang, where's she coming from? Oh, she just posted one. Let me, I think either a book or do you a vlog. We call them vlogs. That's your videos.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I say do that. Words of advice. Then you can use your title that you was gonna use for your book, and then you put you always you put the title and you put episode one or
Hmm.
clip one, and you just continue clip two, clip three. Make it like a continuation where it keeps going. And so now that you got the title embedded in their mind, you could build off that because now I got me a T-shirt line with that title and one of my
Hmm.
quotes that I put on there.
Hmm.
See,
Hmm.
see how I
Hmm.
translate. Thinking of thinking.
You know who has a blog, you ever listen to Jason?
Who is Jason?
Jason is Belinda's youngest brother. He hasn't been to a reunion in quite a while, but he has a podcast. It's called X and Y,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets deep. I want you to, I'm gonna send you the link. I'm gonna
Okay.
send you the link
Okay, I'll
because
check them out.
yeah, because uh, a lot of his topics are explicit, but
Mm-hmm.
he'll do something like why a woman over 40 never been married, what's wrong with her?
You
Ooh.
know what? It's interesting to say that because it's a guy on TikTok named Black Guru,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about topics just like that. Now I'll have to look at Jason's stuff to see in depth, but with the guy Black Guru, he talks about that stuff, but then it also he belittles black women. He
Mm.
talks bad about black women.
Okay.
And he pulls up pictures of like Asians or Caucasian women saying, and then he has these guys that are following him, that's pretty much co-signing the stuff they saying. Oh, black women have bad attitudes. They lazy. It's like downgraded. Like you know, these other women are better than us now. It's bad enough
Yeah.
that we already getting beat down, but to get beat
Mm-hmm.
down by your own kind, And
Yeah.
the crazy thing is, it's like, dude, you're not even in a relationship. You're not even married. So
Mm.
what is the problem? And a lot, what I found too, when he bring people up on the panel, like when the women speak in their mind and speaking facts, he puts them on mute. He puts them on mute so they can't talk, because if he don't like the way or what they're saying, he puts them on mute. So basically, he's a narcissist and he wants to control everything, along with the guys that are in the thing. But it's just like, dude, like, how are you? Who? Which one of your mama hurt you? Your auntie?
Wow.
Who
Yeah.
hurt you? So it's almost kind of interesting, just to hear. I know the conversation can go either way with that, but you know, normally when they have titles like that, their their whole feed, their whole page is downplaying black women, talking bad about women, or pretty much just kind of like, well, why isn't this person married? Why aren't you like? It's I don't know. It's, I wouldn't say frustrating, but it's kind of like aggravating that you saw. He's kind of like the guy that passed away, that was on YouTube, had this YouTube channel, and he was doing the
Having
same thing,
something.
bashing black women and stuff like that. We're the only culture or race that they're bashing, you know.
Hmm.
And it's quite interesting when you said that title, it kind of made me think about, you know, the dude
Hmm.
on TikTok and everything. So
Well,
yeah,
with
I'll check.
stuff like that, if you're in this lane, if you want to be in this lane,
Mm-hmm.
you have to listen to stuff that's hard to listen to
Correct.
so that you're knowledgeable, so that you know what you're talking about because you know the different perspectives, whether you agree with them or not. And you take away what you need
Mm-hmm.
and leave what you don't.
Correct.
Rap music, I hate most of it, but my grandson is listening to it.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to it. Sometimes he's a call, Grandma, let me play that new Uzi, or let me play that new little Dirk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, go ahead, and I'm about to slit my wrist listening to it. But I
It
want to hear
what's
what
out there.
he's listening to. I want to know how he's been influenced.
Mm-hmm.
So I listen to it, even though I may not agree with it.
Correct. I think a lot of the music now, you have some good new age artists. However, some of the music that's played today, when it comes to rap, a lot of it doesn't have any substance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it doesn't have any substance. A lot of them repeating the same thing, and a lot of them sound like the same person. They sound alike in some sense, for it's like using too much auto tunes, mumbling over the track, drill. It's one thing. I think we had a whole conversation on TikTok about this. Sexy Red, how they're promoting. The, I'm quite sure you've heard Sexy Red. I don't need to go
Mm-hmm.
into it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
Sexy Red music, how she blew up off that one song. Cool, no problem, no hate. But then you take a young lady named Scarlett. I don't know if you heard of her,
Mm-hmm.
but she she built up from the muscle. She was on TikTok. Chick started off on TikTok, rapping about noodles and talking about her life story. How, like, when her mom passed away, she was in a bad accident by hit and run. So she was telling her story, and as she grew up, she was telling how her aunt and uncle them treated her and her brother so bad. How one of them, but I think it was one of her oldest cousins or brother, bust her lip, and because she wouldn't give him no money, like, now she's up here, right? She's up
Mm-hmm.
here. She's a storyteller. And she's like talking about her family. Like, I don't deal with my family. Um, and and when we were talking about those two, I say, you see the quality of rapper. You see who are the people that grab Scarlett versus the people who grab Sexy Red. See, she's big in her own way because she made herself on TikTok, right? But the people that are embracing her, Busta Rhymes, legend, Swiss Beats, legend. She's been
Mm-hmm.
surrounded about people that wants to help develop her even more and help her grow. Versus Sexy Red, the music that they putting out with her, it's something that people don't want, shouldn't want their kids to. When you got baby 2 year olds at a birthday party, hands on your knees, and it the lyrics are explicit. But I
Mm-hmm.
saw some 2 year olds singing this song at a birthday, at a 2 year old, 3 year old birthday party, singing this song. I mean, word for words, little boys, little girls, cursing, everything. This is not good music to feed the kids. And the
Mm-hmm.
music that they don't want to feed the kids is actually the music that's inspirational, that is underplayed. They don't want to hear the inspirational stuff. They want them to hear the ratchetness, the foolishness, the killing, and this and this. And they posed this question of it was this dude doing different videos, and they were talking about the music, and they were saying how one artist, he wanted to speak about something pertaining to like F the police or bag of police, and pretty much they were like, we can't put that on the album because he was talking bad about police. We can't put that on the album because you just can't. But we can put the other songs. You can put the other songs about killing your own kind, robbing somebody, beating a female up. You could put all those songs out there, but when it comes to something speaking facts or conscious music, as we call it, motivating, encouraging, they not putting that on the airways like they putting all this ratchet stuff, all this stuff that's causing violence, that's promoting violence in our communities. Their kids singing it, of course, but it's not happening in their communities. It's happening in our communities, and so they're saying like it's okay for y'all to. I think that's why Killer Mike stopped rapping, like stop doing the rap, and he's more focused on uh, improving, helping the black communities, the black kid, helping. He's motivational speaking. He's doing positive rap now versus what he was doing because he said he realized that he was feeding negativity to his own people, and he didn't want to continue to do that. It's the same thing with Dr. Umar. He talks about the rap game versus what it used to be, what it is now, and where is it going. And you got to ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself, if you really think about it, they putting the music out that's real toxic to this generation. Demon time. You got kids talking about demon time. They fighting. Oh, I'm on demon time. I'm on demon time. That means you trying to pretty much. There's a capability you gonna blink out and you gonna seriously injure somebody. You know. So you have to think. It's like you said. You have to see what's out there. You have to listen to it. And like I
Mm-hmm.
listen to it all. I'm a music
Mm-hmm.
head, but I'm not. I only can listen to certain music for so long because it's not making sense. Because all you're doing is talking about cars. All you're doing is talking about money. You're not telling no story. All you're doing is talking about strip clubs, females. All you're doing is talking about robbing somebody, killing somebody, a lick you don't hit, and then you
Mm-hmm.
self-incriminating yourself because you're putting all this stuff in the music. Just
Yep.
stupidity.
Yep.
But to each his own.
To each
So
his own.
So let me ask you this. What motivates you to keep pushing forward, even when you're faced with obstacles?
Grandkids,
Okay.
because my life has been good
Mm-hmm.
and full, and I just want to make sure that they have opportunities.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know what the role of a grandparent was because I didn't have any. Both my grandparents passed away before I was even born. Well, granddaddy passed away. I think I was one or two, something like that. So I,
Okay.
I never knew what a grandparent was.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a grandparent. So now that I realize that grandparents stand in a gap, we're
Mm-hmm.
the safety net. Because parents, unless they have money, real money,
Yeah.
most parents are they trying to make it.
Yeah.
They trying to make it. So they may not have money for swimming lessons or piano lessons or whatever. And grandparents come in and they may be working, so they can't pick them up from practice, or they can't take them to something that's happening at night because they got to go to work the next morning.
Correct.
So grandparents stand in the gap.
It's
So that's
awesome.
that's one of my number one is to make sure their life is full of opportunities. Now, what they do with them is something else.
Yeah,
But
you
I
could.
don't ever want them to grow up and say, I didn't have the opportunity, nobody showed me. I couldn't go. I wanted to play the piano and, I couldn't. And I just want to give them as many opportunities as I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing to be able to achieve, to be able to do is give them opportunities. Because once they have the opportunities you presented, it's up to them to leverage that opportunity and do
Mm-hmm.
greater things. I think I try to think which one of you doing it. I remember I started laughing because we were laughing about this. The one post you made about your granddaughter, you had took the tablet and you thought you had hit it, but she was able to locate it. I was like, I was like, I know she like, okay, give me the phone. I thought that was too funny. I thought
Yeah.
it was too funny. It's like how you was able to locate it. Oh, I got a tracker on my phone because you know the airdrops and they. It's I mean, but it is a good. It is a good. It is good how they have it connected like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because if somebody still one of their devices or what have you, you could track it down to where they are. So that's the good thing. But I just thought it
That's
was so
all they
funny.
know. We had to learn all this stuff. That's all they know.
We had to
So
research.
yeah,
We
they've
had to
mastered it. That's
pivot. Yeah.
all. You think you punishing? I can't remember if it was maybe it was Najee, and I don't know. Punished took the took something away, maybe the tablet, and he was in there making calls on his computer. It was like
Hmm.
they know how
Yeah.
to do all that stuff.
You can call on the computer when you don't have your phone. You can connect your phone and have it linked to your computer. Yeah, listen. Technology is something, especially when you got 1 year olds, 2 year olds knowing how to navigate an iPad. And my neighbor's daughter, she has this little tablet, right? And I will always play on the tablet because she had like a beat maker, so I'll be on there making beats and stuff. And so when she would come outside and see me, she'll go get the tablet, and she was like, "Hold on," and she'll go to the beat maker for me and give it to me. Like she knew how to navigate because she knew, and it's like wow. But I think they also learn it's good and bad because
Yes.
they do learn a lot on there, but it's bad because they're not gonna know how to do basic stuff. Like you have kids in these advanced classes, but don't know how to do basic math. They don't know how to do the basic fundamentals of math, and they want to use a calculator for everything. And you can't use a calculator for everything. So I think, in some aspects, it's making kids lazy and dumb, but in other aspects it's kind of introducing them, like expanding their mental when it comes to technology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So as we come to a conclusion, I'm gonna give you a statement,
Mm-hmm.
and with that statement, I want you to close us up with your perspective or thought process of that particular statement. All right.
Okay.
So what you go through is only temporary. It's not who you are, but it makes you become the person you need to become.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Whatever we go through, good, bad, or indifferent, we come out of it a different person. You get to decide if that different person is better or defeated.
All right. This has been another great episode of the Basics of Perseverance. Kim, thank you for being on tonight, taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on tonight.
My
Uh,
pleasure.
where can the people find you at? What's your name on social media? You got
Kim, it's Kimberly Dixon-Roberts
okay, and that's
on FaceTime.
on Facebook.
What did I say? FaceTime, Facebook.
FaceTime
Yeah.
on Facebook, and do you have an IG?
IG is Kimmy Dixon. I'm rarely on there.
Okay, so you're the
Um,
Facebook. Facebook is your
yeah,
platform.
I'm an old lady, so I'm a Facebook expert.
Okay, so you guys make sure you guys check her out on Facebook. She always has some inspiration, motivational, and messaging in her posts. Until
Hmm.
next time, I'm a peace of mind, peace and blessings.
Peace out.